In anime, the title Demon Lord usually means extinction level power. I can say I'm a very big fan of this myself, and if you're into power scaling and debate style matchups, you're in the right place. So subscribe and don't miss what's coming next. These beings are the absolute peak of power, entities so dangerous they can turn entire worlds into ruins without even trying. They're often the strongest in their worlds and a direct threat to humanity just by existing. Now, before we get into the ranking, quick rule for this list. This is based on a mix of raw power, destructive capability, and overall narrative threat level within their verse, not just plain scaling. Today, we're ranking the top 10 strongest demon lords in anime, and make sure you stay till the end because the number one spot is something straight out of a nightmare. We're starting with none other than Muzan Kibutsuji, the original demon himself.
醜悪な姿だな、産屋敷。
The first demon in existence and the source of every curse in Demon Slayer, Muzan isn't just powerful, he is the origin of demonkind. Every demon in the series comes from his blood, making him the root of an entire species of monsters. With that same blood, he can turn humans into demons and expand his influence like a living plague, spreading his control across the world. What makes Muzan truly dangerous is his personality. Cold, calculating, and extremely paranoid, he eliminates anything he sees as a threat, even his own subordinates for the smallest mistakes. He isn't just chasing power, he's chasing perfection, immortality, and absolute invincibility. However, Muzan does have a major weakness, his fear of sunlight. Despite all his regeneration, adaptability, and power, the sun remains an absolute hard counter to him. He is also heavily dependent on survival instincts rather than true, overwhelming raw power, compared to higher-tier demon lords on this list. And that's exactly why he lands at the bottom of this ranking. Still, don't get it twisted. In most worlds, Muzan alone would be considered a catastrophe-level existence. And if this is number 10, things are only going to get worse from here. Next up at number 9, we have Diablo. Originally just a regular player in a game world, Diablo gets summoned into a real fantasy world as his in-game character, and suddenly becomes the Demon Lord Diablo. At first glance, he may seem calm, even socially awkward, but in combat, he's completely overwhelming. His magic output, resistance, and battle experience from high-level gameplay make him a walking disaster wrapped in a Demon King's body. Most enemies don't even get a proper fight, they just get a front-row seat to their own deletion. However, despite all that, Diablo still operates within a structured magic system and doesn't reach the level of reality-breaking or world-altering demon lords above him. That's why he lands at number 9.
まあ、どう命乞いをしたところで許しはしないがな。
Next up at number 8, we have Satan Jacob.
人を傷つけた代償はこれからてめえら自身が一生かけて払ってくんだ。俺たちみたいにな。
Now, this one is honestly hilarious when you think about it. Imagine being one of the most feared demon lords in existence, only to end up working part-time at a fast food restaurant. But don't let the comedy fool you. Satan is genuinely powerful. In his original world of Ente Isla, he was a terrifying ruler, capable of conquering nations and overwhelming entire armies with demonic power. His abilities allow him to enhance his strength, regenerate, manipulate demonic energy, and become stronger from fear and negative emotions around him. And whenever he taps back into his true Demon Lord powers, the gap between him and normal fighters becomes painfully obvious. However, unlike the demon lords higher on this list, Satan spends most of his time weakened due to being trapped in the human world and lacking constant demonic energy. And that limitation is exactly why he lands at number 8. Now, compared to Diablo from the previous entry, I'm honestly giving Satan the win with mid-difficulty. Different methods, same result. Still, both are monsters when they get serious. Coming in at number 7, we have Sursex Lucifer. And trust me, This is where the rankings start getting truly ridiculous. Known as the strongest devil in high school DxD, Sir Sex isn't just feared because of status, his power is genuinely terrifying. He possesses the power of destruction, an ability capable of erasing matter itself. Not destroy, not damage, erase. That alone already puts him on an entirely different level from most demon lords. Despite being calm and composed most of the time, Sir Sex is considered such a threat that even powerful devils and supernatural beings treat him with extreme caution. However, compared to the monsters higher on this list, Sir Sex still falls short in terms of absolute scaling and reality-defying abilities. Now, compared to Satan Jacob from the previous entry, yeah, this one isn't exactly close. Satan might dominate a fast food shift, but Sir Sex is out here casually erasing existence. I'm giving Sir Sex to win pretty comfortably. Next up is the King of Tyranny himself, Anos Voldegode. And honestly, calling Anos overpowered almost feels disrespectful at this point. Let me show you exactly why. There's a moment in his story where Anos is literally told that he has been erased from history itself. For most characters, that's instant game over. There's no comeback from that. But he essentially forces his way back into existence, overriding the very timeline that tried to delete him. And that's the key difference with Anos. He doesn't just resist attacks, he invalidates the concept behind them. If someone tries to erase him from history, he returns. If a spell is declared absolute, he breaks the definition of absolute. Now, imagine that against someone like Sir Sex from the previous entry. Sir Sex can erase matter itself, but Anos treats even time, death, and causality like suggestions rather than rules. That's not just power anymore, that's authority over the system itself. Still, as insane as that is, the top 5 is where things stop being broken characters and start becoming existence-level threats beyond simple reality rules. And that's why Anos lands at number 6. Breaking into the top 5, we have Goethia. And this is where things stop feeling normal entirely. Goethia isn't just a demon lord with overwhelming strength. He's a being created from 72 demon pillars, possessing intelligence, magical power, and scale far beyond what most characters can even comprehend. His goal alone tells you everything you need to know. Instead of conquering a country or ruling a kingdom, Goethia literally sought to erase and recreate human history itself. Yeah, completely normal demon lord behavior. What makes Goethia truly terrifying is his level of control over time, energy, and existence. His attacks aren't just destructive, they operate on a scale capable of threatening all of humanity across history. However, despite his insanely scaling, the top 3 on this list scale even higher in terms of influence, destructive capability, and pure nightmare fuel. And that's why he lands at number 5. Coming in at number 4, we have the destroyer herself, Milim Nava. Milim is one of the oldest and strongest true demon lords in existence, a being with so much raw power that entire nations fear upsetting her over the smallest thing. At first glance, she might seem playful, childish, and chaotic, but the moment Milim gets serious, everything changes. Her magic power is absolutely monstrous. She possesses near limitless energy, overwhelming physical strength, insane durability, and destructive attacks capable of wiping entire civilizations off the map. And that's why she lands at number 4. And I know some of y'all are already in the comments typing, overrated, no, this is wrong, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. Hear me out. Compared to Goethia from the previous entry, this matchup is pure chaos. Goethia relies on intelligence, planning, and cosmic scale manipulation. Milim looks at all that strategy and responds with overwhelming destruction. Honestly, I'm giving Milim the win here with high difficulty. Different methods, same apocalyptic outcome. Coming in at number 3, we have Rimuru Tempest in his Demon Lord form. And I'm not even going to start this one with a breakdown of abilities, because Rimuru isn't the type of demon lord you explain. He's the type you realize you already lost to. Let me show you what I mean. There's a point in his story where Rimuru doesn't just defeat enemies, he absorbs them completely, including their skills, abilities, and even their evolution potential. So every major fight isn't just a win, it's Rimuru upgrading mid-encounter. He dominates through adaptation with no ceiling in sight. Now, the comparison twist. If Rimuru ever fought someone like Kneeling from the previous entry, it stops being a who's stronger situation. It becomes who can still exist after the fight starts. Because Kneeling destroys everything in front of her. But Rimuru doesn't just survive destruction, he learns from it instantly. Still, despite all of that insanity, there are still two demon lords above him whose existence feels even more horrifying. At number 2, we have the King of Curses himself, Ryomen Sukuna.
福が水し
And honestly, this man is pure evil wrapped in overwhelming power. From the very beginning of Jujutsu Kaisen, Sukuna was treated less like a normal villain and more like a natural disaster. Even the strongest sorcerers fear the idea of him reaching full power. What makes Sukuna terrifying isn't just strength, it's dominance. His cursed energy, speed, intelligence, and battle IQ are all on an absurd level. Every time Sukuna fights, it feels less like a battle and more like a massacre waiting to happen. And then there's his domain expansion. Malevolent Shrine is one of the deadliest abilities in anime. A domain so broken, it can continuously slice apart everything within range without even needing a barrier. That's ridiculous. However, despite all this insanity, there is still one demon lord on this list whose existence feels even more horrifying. Now, compared to Rimuru from the previous entry, this matchup is genuinely terrifying. Rimuru adapts to almost everything, but we've seen Sukuna fight someone with close high hacks adaptability technique, and we could all agree that Sukuna is that guy that genuinely enjoys turning overpowered characters into victims. So overall, I'm giving Sukuna the edge in scaling. And finally, taking the number 1 spot is Satan from Devilman Crybaby. Now, this isn't just a demon lord who rules the world. This is a demon lord who actually succeeded in ending it. Satan didn't just rely on raw strength. They executed a calculated, premeditated plan that led to the full-scale extermination of humanity. By unleashing a demon army across the planet, humanity was systematically wiped out so demons could take Earth for themselves. And the result wasn't just war, it was extinction. Satan's power isn't limited to combat alone. Their very presence brings global-level catastrophe. It escalates to such a level that even divine forces are forced to intervene, resulting in a planetary-scale destruction event that wipes everything clean in what can only be described as biblical-level judgment. What makes Satan stand out above every other demon lord on this list is simple. This isn't potential destruction. This is confirmed apocalypse. Compared to Sukuna and the others, they're terrifying fighters and world-threatening beings, but Satan is the reason the world no longer exists in the same form. And honestly, if a demon lord ranking ends with the literal end of humanity, I think we did pretty well. And that wraps up the list. From reality-breaking demon lords to literal world-ending catastrophes, these characters show just how insane power scaling can get. But now, I want to hear from you. Do you agree with this ranking, or is there a demon lord you think should have been higher? Drop your thoughts in the comments and I'll debate them. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe for more power scaling and anime rankings like this. And with that said, I'll see you in the next one.